So this is going to be another video that's going to really need to be shared around. A question that I get asked often about, replanting trees and stuff like that, they want to know, how does the tracks look after we're done with them? This is the track we're currently cutting right now. You can see it looks like a field across there. That's the way we cut them. We've cut on this same road right here since 2003. This job right here we cut in 2014. We moved on it in November of 2014, and we moved off of it in February of 2015. So the soonest it would have been planted would have been the winter of 2015. So if you say that, and we're just crossed into 2019, and that's what these trees look like right here. When I started filming, posting videos every day on YouTube was November of 2014. So if you'll go back to November of 2014, you'll see a ton of videos right here. I've actually got a video from this job right here. When we got done, I flew the entire job with a drone. It's called Another Finished Masterpiece. It gives you all the numbers on this job right here. How many acres, how many loads, the amount of time, the rain out days, everything on it. You can see the entire job from the drone. I will include a link to that video right down below. So these trees, the oldest they could be is 3 years old. And you can see the stem on these trees right here. And that tree, I am 5'9", and that tree's quite a bit taller than I am too. Alright, so the beauty of this is, so y'all are seeing this over here, and then this right here, and I'm gonna get my truck and I'm gonna drive down. This was a huge job right here too. We also cut the job joining this job in the summer of 2003. So I'm going to take you and I'm going to show you trees that are 15 years old also in just a second, so you can kind of see the difference. So you've got, wow, look at that needle nose plier laying right in the road. Ain't that something? Getting a tire. They go in my truck now. So from this, in 3 years, is going to look like this right here. This job was tough. Hey, it's some rough ground on this whole job. I've got an incredible time lapse that I filmed. I was right up there by that shooting house up there that is awesome. Where the trucks coming in and out one morning. I was loading them real early. But if I remember right, I think we cut 977 loads off of that job right there. It was a really good job for us that we cut. And everything, this is the one that kind of started my YouTube stuff right here. So you can go back and you can kind of see the early days of that, where I was learning, trying to learn. Boy, I was struggling on editing on that job right there. I mean, it was, I was reaching out to some people, and other people that I thought might know didn't know about editing. So I just fought my way through it. Watched a lot of YouTube videos on editing to learn how to edit. And it got me to the point to where I am now. And the growth and where Cotton.3 the brand is now. So we're gonna hop in the truck and I'm gonna run the camera out the window, and y'all can see this job as I drive by it. And then in just a minute, you're gonna see the track that is now 15 years old growth on it. Now, and it'll be coming up to be thin here pretty soon, and I'll explain more about that here in just a second. So that should give you an idea in 3 years what it'll look like. We'll walk out here. All this was ripped. I've actually got a bunch of drone footage from right here in this area of Derek cutting. But they're old 830. See, these are the old pieces of wood. That was an oak piece. This is gonna be a pine. See, in 3 years, you see how fast that stuff rots in 3 years. Good nutrients for the soil. I don't care where you go, you're gonna find a beer bottle somewhere, a beer can somewhere. You can be 10 miles out. You can see the rip in the ground where they planted the trees. There's one cut off. Derek hit the butt on with the jump butt it a little bit. This is what I wanted to show. This is where the processor was sitting. See the bark pile right here? Look at that. Mulch. Nothing but moist mulch. Rotting right into the ground. And just, I step in and it just mashes through. Nothing but bark. That's still pretty solid. All right, there's a stump. Look at that. These stumps rot fast. Real fast. There's another one. All these trees. Let me flip the screen over. See. Y'all are seeing. See, it's taller than I am. So we had a loading deck right there, and then we had another one on top of that hill right there, and we had one more on further back over here, and then we had a bunch all over that away. Let's see. About 15-foot spacing on these roads right here between these roads. And about 6 foot apart. These are all hand planted too, by the way. With a double bar. See a big old water bar right here. A big one. So there's the next one. Keep it from washing. Alright, let's ride in the road. Alright, I'm just pulling away from where I was parked right there. I'll just let the camera run as I drive along in here. Beautiful SMZs down there in those hollers. Kid on a dirt bike. There's one of the access roads right there that went into it. This thing just goes and goes and goes. See, I'm running 35 and we still ain't to the end of it yet. We loaded right there. See, rip around the contour of those hills when it's on the hill. This is kind of overlooking the Buttahatchee River. Alright, this is the track that we cut in 2003, right here on the left-hand side of the road joining. I'm gonna pull up here and I'm gonna pull over and we're gonna walk in there and I'm gonna show you all the size of those trees. You can see the cut line right here. Well, I'll start the camera back and let it run until we get down here. See, I'll pull in. Now let's go on down here to this next spot. We'll pull over. Yeah, it's a big good spot right here. We'll walk in here. Alright, so I'm getting out of the truck. These trees, sometimes, a lot of times they won't plant them the very next fall. Sometimes they'll wait 1 year. And they do that for 2 or 3 different reasons. Number one, because sometimes it's just the way it works out in the budget for them to do it. And sometimes there's a little beetle around here called a pay-leaves beetle that gets in these pine stumps. And if you plant these pine trees right behind the cut, sometimes those pay-leaves beetles will eat up the fresh seedlings. Now, let's look at this. Y'all see all these right here? Those are regeneration, natural regeneration pine trees. You see them? Even with this canopy up right here, these little dudes are still growing their butts off right there. You see that? I cannot stress to y'all the amount of effort and the amount of money that goes in and the amount of resources and the learning that all of us who are in the wood industry here go through and deal with to be able to cut trees like we do every day, and then have this right here just like this. Now, the youngest these trees could be, or the oldest these trees would be 15. They may just be 14. Now, our paper mill, see, this is a row right here. This is a row, and this is a row over here. Our paper mill will not accept trees unless they're at least 16 years of age or older for pulp. And because it costs so much more money to turn a younger chip into pulp than it does a little bit older, you know, when you get up to 16. And so these trees will probably be thin sometime this next year, 2020 probably. But you can see the growth. I mean, these ain't no slouchers here. And like I said, we clear cut this the summer of 2003. We were actually cutting this track right here when we found out Jill was pregnant with Emma. Emma will be 15 here the end of this, as a matter of fact, the 28th of this month coming up. She was born in 2004. We found out in 2003 that she was pregnant with Emma then, and we were on this job right here. And I remember thinking, what the actual heck? Because we was not planning on having a second kid. We were just going to have one. And y'all know how that goes. My mama told me, she said, you ain't figured out by now what makes them things yet. You in bad shape, boy. Well, story along those lines, they were all about ready to kill us because we had sold all of our baby stuff. Jill's parents had gotten rid of all of their baby. They had a crib, the whole 9 yards. Derek was about to get married, and we didn't want to mess his wedding up. His still none of his thunder. So we kept it on the down low until after the wedding. Jill was already starting to show. And so we went over to Jill's mom's and we broke the news to them. And her mama looked over at me and she said, I'm going to kill you. I am going to kill you. I was like, okay, all right. And my child to be fatherless right off the bat, if that's what you want. But it all worked out. And you know how those things are. A lot of y'all can relate to that. It all worked out in the end. And then we had Emma. Emma Francis was born. That year was a leap year too. So the next day, if she would have been born the next day, she would have been born on February 29th. So thank goodness she was not. That would have been a mess. And she came a little bit early too. We wasn't expecting her to, she wasn't due for a couple more weeks. And, but you can see this is a rough track right here too. Boy, this thing just drops way off down in there in that hole. These trees are really nice, really, really nice. I've had so many requests for a video like this right here, showing what they look like. And this is it right here. Sometimes too, the delay on planting them maybe for one more year is a fact of, depending on when it's cut, the chemicals, getting it, everything has to be worked in on a cycle, you know. So like if it's cut late summer, it may not be able to be included in what's going to be sprayed for that next year or that summer. And so it's a lot of variables there, but we've got way more timber here to cut than we could possibly ever cut. We can't do it. It's impossible. And the pine market, that's the reason why the pine market is so low right now, is because there's so much of this stuff right here. And you'd be amazed at how fast these trees like this right here, that size, add up. I mean, that tree there is going to be 11 inches on the butt, right there at ground level. Up there at the very top, it's going to be 31, 32. Some of these, like those over there, as you go on down the hill, they're going to be taller because they're competing for sunlight, so they're going to grow. A lot of times these on top of the hill won't be as tall because they're not having to compete as much. But it's a very interesting process for us here in the southeast of what we do. Now I'm going to take you and I'm going to show you some more planted trees that this month in February are 5 years old, so you can see what they look like. And they are a 5th generation super tree, and I'm going to show you what they look like at 5 years old. But it is it's a lot that goes into all this stuff, and that's what the Sustainable Forestry Initiative is for. It's a tree today, a tree tomorrow. See all the regen, it's just tons of it everywhere. Little green haze on the ground everywhere. And that kid probably coming back on that motorcycle. No, that's a pickup truck. So we as I said in another video prior to this one about the tree planting, when those guys, and I'll try to remember to include a link on that video too in the description box down below. The Sustainable Forestry Initiative, your Lowe's, Home Depots, all the big boys like that right there. What that does is that guarantees we have every year, we have to get so many credit hours of schooling and everything like that to be signed off on. And what that does is that guarantees that the way that we harvest timber and manage the property, that it's done in the right fashion, that we're protecting and preserving the environment. And you can see, man, look at the mat of pine straw on that ground holding that moisture in right there. And that's what it does. So people have put the pressure on those large retailers like that and say, hey, we want to make sure that when we buy stuff from y'all, that where it came from, the property that it came from, is being taken care of the way it's supposed to be. And so that's what the Sustainable Forestry Initiative does. So if you see a product, a paper product or something, and it has SFI on it, or it may say SFI certified on it, that's what it means. I know this video is going to be kind of long, but it's a lot to explain in this stuff, and I want to make sure everybody, I try to explain things in the simplest way possible to where, you know, even a 6-year-old can understand it. So let's go. We're going to go look at a 5-year-old plantation. Okay, as promised, here's these trees were planted in February 2014. This is at my house. So they've got 4 years of growth on them. They're 5 years old this month, but they got 4 years of growth because we hadn't went into this summer right here yet. Those trees are 20 foot tall or so. All of these were planted. I ripped all this with my tractor and subsoiler. These are 10-foot spacing. Well, 10-foot rows on these. Those are the same age over there too. I think these are 5th generation super trees is what these are right here. So as you can see, the trees here grow really fast, and so people worry about us cutting it down, you know, or cutting all the trees. Man, people have been saying that for, gosh, I can remember hearing people say that back in the 80s, you know, and I mean, we ain't cut them. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. And these are just some of the things that we do to make sure. And the thing about it is, those trees are producing oxygen out there too. They're cleaning the air, producing oxygen, and they provide a heck of a habitat for every wildlife animal there is. I mean, and it doesn't matter whether it's a fresh, clear cut or if it's older, you know, or even on up, ready, mature enough to be cut. I mean, there's rabbits all out in there. You know, I come down here all the time. You see rabbits. There's all kind of mice and stuff runs around in that thick bedded grass right there. Mice, rats, whatever. That's probably why I saw a rattlesnake over there this fall, I'm sure, because a rat to a rattlesnake is like a filet mignon. And so you can see, and then it provides a good place to hunt, you know. You see the green field here, right there, all the way back, following the power line right there. So I hope that this video here sheds some more light on, you know, what we do as loggers, or not all loggers, most all loggers do. A lot of the mills now, your big boy mills, your big companies, you can't cross their scales unless you as a company is SFI certified. We actually got ours when they first started it back in 1996. I went through all the classes to do it. It took several weeks, I forget, 6 weeks or so. And they simplified it a lot now. It's not near as bad as it was back then, but it goes over everything, you know, mainly the streams and stuff like that, and you know, looking out for endangered species and stuff, and you know, like the red cock-headed woodpecker, just all kinds of stuff like that, and what to do around these drains, and that's the biggest thing. But it's there's a lot that goes into this before you drive up to your Lowe's or your Home Depot and you pick that 2x4 up and you take it home, you cut it up to make something out of, you know, or a piece of OSB board, what we call wafer board, strand board that goes on all your decking is made from it now. So there's a lot of jobs provided too, this directly related to the wood industry, because you think about the cut that I showed y'all to begin with. the foresters that are involved in it, we're involved in it. And then you take the guys doing the spraying and stuff like that involved in it, and then the guys doing the ripping involved in it, and then you have some guys that come in that do some BMP work, best management practice, like water bars, stuff like that, dressing the roads up, things, you know, doing that. And then of course you got the nursery that grows the tree, that grows the seedlings, and then you've got the planting guys that come in there and plant it. And so there's a lot, man, there's a lot of jobs involved in this stuff here that when you see that 2x4 at the store, there's been a lot that went into it, you know, by that point. So I hope y'all enjoyed that. I hope this gets shared around, because I've got requested on this a lot. I'm gonna probably put a playlist together of these videos where somebody can easily go to them and pick them up and see them there. But I'll try to remember to link the two down below that I talked about earlier too, if I don't forget. And but I appreciate y'all watching here. So y'all check out the Tater store, cottontop3.com. All the merchandise is right there. And biggest thing, subscribe to me. I appreciate the views and the subscriptions that follow this away, and all the new people coming along with all the growth. I appreciate all y'all too. And about to go in here in my shop, mess around here. Just fed the dog, 2 psycho dogs out there, and so we'll catch y'all later. Later, taters.